Hi, Pearl. Thank you so much for taking our time and interviewing with us. For the viewers, may we request you to please share your story, your journey in your own words?
Sure. Hey everyone, my name is Pearl and I'm originally from Mumbai, India, but currently I'm situated in Toronto. Before MBA, I did my undergraduate in chemical engineering from the Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai. After doing my undergraduate, I thought I would work in the industry for a few years. So I joined India's largest oil and gas company and ended up working for 4 years there. I started in the shop floor and operations, really liked working with the large teams. And then I went on to work in the more strategic decision-making process and planning for the oil to chemicals business vertical for the company. I really enjoyed my work, but that inspired me to think more about where my career is going. I wanted to have more impact beyond one company, one industry, one geography. So that motivated me to apply for MBA, for an international MBA, and which would help me achieve all these three goals of industry, career, and geography. So that brought me to Rotman, and at Rotman, I got to explore a lot of career options, and finally, I've settled down with consulting for the short term, and maybe long term. Let's see what happens. But I've really enjoyed my journey so far.
It's actually inspiring how far you have come in your journey to success. So, in your opinion, what are a few factors or actions you took that made all the difference?
Sure. So I think every MBA aspirant, I was in those shoes. I know how intimidating it can get. So I think every MBA aspirant has like two journeys, right? So the first one is the GMAT preparation process, and second one is like the application process. So for the first part of GMAT preparation, I think the major thing which makes a difference for me was being consistent. And this is with everything in life, right? If you're learning a new skill or a new tactic, you need to give time. You need to do it every day rather than just sitting on the weekend and cramming it all. So I think the key factor for me for GMAT was being consistent and reviewing my mistakes again and again. What happens sometimes is that, okay, you made a mistake and then you forget about it, right? But reviewing that is like the key to really improving yourself every day. So I think that's the first, part of the process. And then the second part of application process, I think I would say that learning with school, really genuinely learning about the school. I know a lot of people go with say what their friends are saying or say what's being told on the internet forums, but I think it's more important what fits with you as your cultural fit as well as your career fit. So finding something that was truly unique to me, that was tailored to me, and that was talking to me was the most important thing for me. And it took me quite a lot of time. I mean, I had to talk to a lot of people from different schools to actually know that yes, I really fit in this community.
All right. Wow. It must have been a very difficult decision to make, but I think the right research helps a lot. So, with the benefit of hindsight, what are a few mistakes you believe you committed in the process?
Okay, so I made a lot of mistakes and I proudly own them. So I think with respect to GMAT, I would say, and even with the application process, if I had to sum it up in one sentence, be early,
All
right?
right.
It pays to be early. So the first, like the GMAT part, I felt that I had a lot of time in my final year in undergraduate because I was already placed. I got a pre-placement offer, and the final year I was just not doing anything in a very concentrated manner. I was doing different things, but I was not focused. I knew I had to give the GMAT because in a few years I wanted to do an MBA soon. So I feel that giving GMAT when you are in that academic group really helps out. But if you're you know, at a situation that, okay, I could not give GMAT in final year because I was sitting for placements, don't worry, but then at least give it in the first few years when you're working because your career is just launching off. You don't need to give that much time to your work, but focus more on the long term. So I think that's one mistake of not being early. And the second would be also the application process, because as soon as you get GMAT out of the way, you can focus on your application. You can focus on networking, getting to know which school is the best for you, and that would position you to apply for, say, round one.
All right, okay. So, going back to your GMAT prep phase, what were the main resources that you used, and what tips will you give to the future candidates regarding that?
Sure. I prepared for GMAT over, say, 3 years. I would say 3 years, but not 3 years. It was like a nominal 3 years. The real impact was only 3 months. So I started off after I graduated and was just joining my job. And that time I would just go through all these materials of Manhattan, official guide, but I was just doing theory, even what you have learned in school. You just go through the theory and then do the practice, right? So I think I used Manhattan first and the official guide. So that was what I started with. And then the second part was knowing about other test prep companies. So I would go to GMAT Club because I feel GMAT Club is amazing. Like it has everything under the roof, but you have to be focused and concentrated on knowing what to pick and what not to pick,
Right.
what is valuable for your time. So the second would be GMAT Club, and the third would be like actual practice platforms.
Okay.
So once I went through all these preliminary platforms, I thought, okay, let's move on to the practice phase. Let's do the actual phase. And I gave a couple of mocks on GMAT Club. I gave the official mock, and I did not score really well. Like I thought I would score above 700, but I scored under 700, and I was so frustrated because I had spent so many hours just reading the theory, just trying to grasp everything, and I just got something around 650 or 670, and I was so demoralized.
Mm.
But then I revamped I started reading reviews on how people actually prepare, and how someone who's like given GMAT so many times, what's their single takeaways. So they said keep practicing, and I knew official club materials, sorry, official GMAT materials were restricted. You would just have four if you purchase. So I wanted to find a test prep which would be tailored and which would give me ample practice. I don't have to worry about simulating the exam experience. You have very less companies which do that. And even if they do that, they do it at a level which does not mimic GMAT, the actual experience. So I did not want to go for those options which are very pricier, and I thought maybe the return on my investment would not be great. So I extensively researched, and I came across expert global's package, and I would say 15 marks, and I don't know, it's $50 I think, around $50, and I was like, this is jackpot. I signed up for it ultimately, and it helped me so much. Every Sunday I could simulate. I literally did this in the, I
Right.
told you, right? Like my real GMAT was just 3 months. So in the last month, every Sunday I would just sit and give one mock, and then the next Monday I would analyze my mistakes in the platform. So I feel a lot of resources helped me, but the last leg, which really picked up my journey, was Expert Global's
Right.
package of exams.
That's amazing. And it's amazing how you actually didn't give up and you continued with your efforts to get better and better.
So I did 10 out of the 15 mocks given by Expert Global. So I think that's, I
Hmm.
don't know, 10 weeks, 1.5 months. So yeah, I
Okay.
that was optimum for me. But your optimum is like everyone's optimum is different, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, what would you like to say about your experience and learnings from managing the application timelines?
Sure. I think yeah, like once you get GMAT out of the way, this is like the major thing you need to get across, right? So some schools, again here there are different schools with different timelines. Some schools have just 2 rounds, some schools have like 3, 4 rounds. So for me, I applied like across three geographies. One was in India, one was in North America.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't apply in Europe, but I just focused on North America and India. So I felt that I literally made like a project planning template for it. I had which schools, which all schools I wanted to go in or which I wanted to network with. I had to reach out to those people. So I made a list of who all the people I have came across on LinkedIn or through GMAT Club that I can contact. And before the application timeline, obviously, I had to plan the calls, the chats, and based on their availability as well. So that was the first part of, even before you start writing anything, you go through the questions, you see the essays, you see what's required, the LORs and all. But you first reach out to people to get to know whether the school is a good fit, right? So that was a very important part for me, that knowing which school is a good fit. And after that, I felt it was more about the tactical parts where you just had to write your essay, you had to review the essay every week. And then for LOR, I had left a very good margin because I knew that my managers were very busy people. So I gave them like ample time 1 month before, and I had a dossier ready. Like I knew I wanted to be strategic. I didn't want them to write even if they would write in their own words, I wanted them to know that, okay, I want to highlight this experience because that's what I came to know from my conversations with everyone from those schools. So I think I planned my application process from after I gave my GMAT, which was in September 2020. That's why I could not make it to the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And then I planned it between September to December for the second round. So, there was a good margin. But I would not, again, like for GMAT application process, how I said, I would not recommend that for like my friends here. But then I would say that start, if you're applying for the first round, start somewhere in, say, June, July. That would be the best part. And first round, I think there are a lot of benefit to be early, and it's more important to apply in the first round.
Yeah, right. So, would you like to describe your interview experience with the school?
Sure, sure. So for Rotman, I think my interview process was like two parts. So first one was the video interviews where it's a asynchronous video prompt which you get. So you get three questions which are you don't know what's going to come, but then it's like an example where you have to give your answer back in 1 minute. So
Interesting.
so I just Googled that, what kind of questions can I expect? And there were such bizarre questions that, what was your most memorable thing? And I'm like, okay, I had to, go through these questions and at least have a framework. If any uncertain question came, how would I approach it, right? So I didn't want to be thrown off.
Mm-hmm.
So once the video interviews were out of the way, and I got an actual interview call, I got an interview call with the admission director. And I think it was very comfortable because he made me feel we had like a good, even before the interview, we had like a good chat. Like he made me feel for like the first 5-10 minutes, he didn't make me feel like it was an interview, it was a conversation, a genuine conversation. And after that he asked me all these basic questions. So I think what everyone can expect is, why Rotman, why not other schools, which, and you have to have a very solid response. Then what are your post MBA career goals? You have to be clear on that. And then it was more of those behavioral questions where what is the biggest challenge that you faced, or what's the biggest failure of yours? What's your biggest achievement? So these were like those standard questions that anyone can expect. So
Okay.
I felt the interview process was really nice. I could speak to him even after that. I could ask questions to him, which I really felt like that was my favorite part, obviously, because uh, after that it just flows. The conversation just flows, and you don't know whether an interview is going on or not. So I really liked the interview
Wow,
experience.
that's quite unique. So, would you like to share your MBA journey so far? Like, how has the experience been for you?
Sure. I think it's been a roller coaster ride because well, it's been 8 months right now. And I would say it's very fast paced. Like if you feel GMAT or the application process is paced, you're mistaken. The MBA is like it just gets over even before you realize what's happening to you. So I think I've done 3 terms already, and I'll be finishing my first year in this April. So
Oh,
it's going very fast for me, but at the same time, I really like the fast-paced nature and I like that I'm getting to work. I have to manage so many things at the same time. I'm back to the learning environment, so I really enjoy it. And I'm learning about subjects which I've always wanted to study, like strategy, macroeconomics, uh, and first year, the subjects are a bit core, so you don't get to choose anything. But this next term, I get to choose. I got to choose my elective. So I took up sustainability and
mm-hmm,
entrepreneurship. So Rotman has a very good platform for entrepreneurship called Creative Destruction Lab, which I am so interested and looking forward to. But all in all, I really like my community. I like that I'm networking with so many people from different parts of the world and learning about their cultures and really enjoy the time, even outside the MBA, like going out and having good dinner,
mm-hmm.
exploring Toronto.
Right. Wow, this is amazing. Looks like quite a wholesome experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really nice. So, according to you, what are a few common mistakes that you would advise all the GMAT aspirants and MBA applicants to avoid?
I think the common mistake is with the mindset. Like that is undeniable because what happens is during GMAT application process, one can get very frustrated. At least I got very frustrated in between. I felt that this is not going anywhere. I should just give up. And that giving up feeling makes you not consistent. It makes you stop practicing. It makes you have those on-off phases, which is not very efficient. So keeping yourself self-motivated is important. Talk to someone
Right.
or converse about your feelings with someone. So I feel that don't keep it with yourself. Don't make yourself so pressurized. So be very focused and don't uh, pressurize yourself at the same time. So that would be my, 2 cents on the GMAT part. But on the application part, I would say that what I mean, don't go for too many schools, but at the same time, don't go for too few schools. So I went for very few schools because I knew I was going to join those schools. But
Right.
why I'm saying this is because uh, when you have like at least few more schools, then you have options to choose from. It does make your decision making process a bit difficult, but it's also a good way to ask for scholarships uh, and negotiate your scholarship terms. So I would say that if you really want to just go to 2 schools, at least apply for 4 schools, right?
All right.
So I just applied for 2 schools, but at the same time, don't apply for 10 schools because you know you're not going to go to 10 schools, right? So I would say have that optimum number so that you have that flexibility of changing, and later on, even there might be considerations which might prevent you from going to that school, like say maybe the city is too expensive or it's not like the city does not work but the school is great. So having those strategic options available would be the best part for any candidate.
That's actually very important.
Rotman gives like I wish I had applied on first round because they have more generous scholarships then,
All right.
but they do give scholarships. I did get a scholarship from Rotman in the second round as well.
Wow, that's amazing. So, can you tell us about your job search experience during the MBA? Like, what tips would you give to the future candidates regarding that?
Yeah, I think job search is like getting into that job search after 4 years for me was a bit intimidating because I
Right.
did change my role within the same company, but I was not actually, interviewing with other firms in these 4 years of my work experience.
Right.
So I think the school helps you prepare with respect to your resume, with your interviewing skills, but the more important part is that we network. So for me, I was just attending a lot of info sessions. We used to have back to back. I knew very well early on that I wanted to do consulting after I saw what options were available to me. So I was clear. Well, there were my friends, some of my friends were not so clear. So they would just go to every event and see what's their fit. So that took them additional time. But if if you're clear on what you want to do, like I was clear on consulting, I would just attend consulting events and then follow up with the people I met there and have coffee chats with them, which is very important in the North American culture. That and I was not coming from that culture because in India you don't really have coffee chats and it's it's a bit different in India how you network versus how you network here. So I think learning that process was like the most important part for me on how to ask the right questions, uh, how to follow up on conversations, how to make the conversation change to a connection with someone else or someone senior in the company. So I think networking is very important in terms of job search. And after that, it was just the interview process. So for consulting, and again, it's like for different industries, you have different interview processes. For finance, in investment banking, you're expected to give a stock pitch. In consulting, you're expected to hone your case skills. So I think learning the case skills was like the crucial part for me because I'd never seen that
Mhm.
earlier.
Right.
And that was like a major, I would say, milestone which I crossed during the interview process. So I really enjoyed the case preparation process. And yeah, I have finally landed an offer for the summer.
Okay, wow, that's amazing. Congratulations on that. So
Thank you so
it's like coming out of your comfort zone and doing the entire process, executing, which is amazing. So, what would be your final message or suggestion to all the viewers watching this video?
I think my suggestion would be that I know if someone who's viewing this recording would be a MBA aspirant, I was in those shoes. I would just go through so many YouTube videos to listen to people's experiences. But my final takeaway would be that whatever you do, be
Hmm.
yourself, know yourself. Like it's all about a self discovery process, even before the MBA and even post MBA. You need to be very self-aware and not let things affect you. There will be a lot of setbacks. It's a sinusoidal kind of journey. It's not a straight line. So be prepared for that and enjoy the process. Like even in your trough or at your peak, think about failures as learning opportunities and think about success as something like a platform to learn more. So
Okay.
treat everything as a learning. Don't treat everything objectively like a success or a failure. That would be my entire takeaway from my journey till now.
Wow, this is inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing your entire journey and experience with us. So, keep in
Thank
touch.
thank you for calling. Yeah.
It was great talking to you. Yeah, thank you so much.